What is up, you guys? My name is Nick, and welcome to my channel where I cover all things entertainment. Whatever you're watching, I'm making videos about. And it's time for some more Hulu recommendations. Yes, if you caught my last video, thank you so much for watching. I felt pretty good about it, but you guys seem to really enjoy it. So if you're hungry for more, I've got 10 more movie recommendations that you can watch right now on Hulu. Number 10 is Live Free or Die Hard, the fourth installment in the Die Hard franchise that sees the return of Bruce Willis as iconic hero John McClane when a cyber terrorist threatens to take down the US government. I know a lot of people hate on this movie because it's rated PG-13, and I get it. Die Hard is a hard R franchise, but I think this particular movie excels at doing what it sets out to do, and that's be a fun summer action movie. This movie has a ton of great action sequences. There are great fights and shootouts and chases. It has everything you want.
You just killed a helicopter with a car! How's that a bullet?
And yes, I did see this in theaters when I was 16 because I was actually able to go see it without a parental guardian. And yeah, it did introduce me to the Die Hard franchise, and it made me go back and watch the other ones, and I fell in love with it. I didn't care for a lot of 80s action movies until I got into Die Hard. So you know what? I'm sorry to everyone out there who really hates that this movie is PG-13, but the movie gods had to do what they had to do so that I specifically could love this movie. I'm sorry, it's just the way that it is. Feel free to join the club and watch Live Free or Die Hard while it's on Hulu.
See that? Yes, I did it.
Number 9 is Monsters Ball, a depressing drama that stars Billy Bob Thornton, Halle Berry, and Heath Ledger. Thornton plays a corrections officer who oversees the execution of a death row inmate played by P. Diddy. This cast is actually something, but he happens to be the husband of Halle Berry's character, so Thornton and Berry end up connecting because they've both been through tragedies and they find love with one another. Like I said, this one is pretty depressing because it is all about death row and poverty and loneliness, but it is also such a damn good movie, and Halle Berry won an Oscar for this one. I think a little bit because she had to do a sex scene with Billy Bob Thornton, but also because she gives a great performance here. Number 8 is Love and Mercy, a biopic about Brian Wilson, a member of the Beach Boys who struggles with mental illness through his life and career. I'm not some Beach Boys super fan, although I do like some jams, but I don't like a lot of biopics about public figures because they're often very formulaic. However, I think this one does a really good job of capturing one person's struggles with their own creative genius and their mental health struggles. It's a pretty fascinating story that I was unaware of, so you might want to check it out yourself. Number 7 is Melancholia, a super long drama from director Lars von Trier, which is how you know this is or is not for you. Two sisters react very differently when news spreads that a rogue planet will collide with Earth, destroying humanity as we know it. The first part focuses on a wedding as Kirsten Dunst's character gets married and celebrates life, and the second half shows how she crumbles into depression and needs to be taken care of by her sister, played by Charlotte Gainsbourg. This movie shows the opposite ends of the spectrum of how people would react to this impending tragedy, and I know a lot of people will find it slow and boring because it doesn't get to its main plot until about halfway through the film, but this is the only Lars von Trier movie that I actually like. I'd call it my favorite, but it's the only one I care for. I do have to see The House That Jack Built, and that is also on Hulu right now. Number 6 is Broke Down Palace, a 90s crime drama about two young women vacationing in Thailand when airport security finds drugs planted in their bags and they're sentenced to life in prison. The film focuses on the two trying to adjust to life in prison as they seek justice. This is a very particular movie, and it's not exactly a fun time. Sorry, I just realized this is a list of the most depressing movies on Hulu, actually, but I find this movie really interesting because it focuses on some of the darker aspects of the world, and I know you might not really want to dive headfirst into that, but you kind of have to, because people are always going to be trying to screw you over, and this movie does star two of my favorites, Claire Danes and Kate Beckinsale, so I can't help but recommend it.
I didn't do it!
Number 5 is I, Tonya, another biopic, but this one follows Olympic figure skater Tonya Harding. The film focuses on the life and upbringing of Harding, as well as the many perspectives surrounding the attack on fellow figure skater Nancy Kerrigan.
I never did this.
This dark comedy features one of Margot Robbie's best performances, but it's Allison Janney who won all of the awards, and another movie that you're gonna wanna watch just for the performances alone.
What kind of friggin' person bashes in their friend's knee? Who would do that to a friend?
Number 4 is Friends with Kids, a romantic comedy written and directed by Jennifer Westfeldt, and it's about two 30-somethings who decide to raise a child together while maintaining a platonic relationship.
Oh my god, that is the worst idea I've ever heard.
Oh my god, so exciting!
Of course, they won't be able to fight developing feelings for one another because it's a romantic comedy, and I know that this will sound maybe a little bit too sweet, but I find it to be a grounded look at adulthood and parenthood, and it has an incredible cast, including Maya Rudolph, John Hamm, and Kristen Wiig, who regularly keep things hilarious.
Who'd you run into?
Yeah. Our
Dave
friends
and
Barbara and Dave.
In the bathroom?
Number 3 is Luce, a drama starring Kelvin Harrison Jr. as Luce, the adopted son of an upper-class couple played by Naomi Watts and Tim Roth. Octavia Spencer plays a teacher who begins a contentious relationship with Luce as the two begin to challenge each other. This is an underseen gem from 2019, and I didn't love it as much as I wanted to, but it's still a very interesting story fleshed out with incredible acting from everyone involved. And I just have to say, Kelvin Harrison Jr. deserves to be the next big thing. I would look out for him. He was also really good in Waves last year, but I think he was even better in Loose. Number 2 is Fighting With My Family, a dramedy biopic about WWE superstar Paige. But I know nothing about wrestling, so I'm just gonna ignore any possible historical inaccuracies and just talk about this as a fun movie. Florence Pugh plays a young woman in a family of wrestlers who perform at small venues celebrating their favorite pastime. When she gets the opportunity to audition for the WWE, she's got to pull out all the stops in order to make her dreams come true. Again, I don't really care about wrestling at all, nothing against it for anyone into it, but I just don't know anything about these people or this world, and honestly, you don't need to in order to enjoy this movie. Personally, I think this is such a feel-good, fun, and uplifting movie. Everyone is giving a great comedic performance, but Florence Pugh is so damn good. I mean, she's just the best. I love her. She's my favorite. Just watch it and thank me later. Number 1 is The Shawshank Redemption, one of the best movies ever made in my opinion. Based on a short story by Stephen King, this follows a man who was wrongfully convicted of the murder of his wife and sent to prison for life. While inside, he befriends other inmates, including Morgan Freeman's character, and it's all about maintaining hope and living your best life, even in prison. I know this will sound very depressing, as I'm realizing most of the movies on this list are not the most fun, but stick with me because I think this is one of the most uplifting movies truly ever made. You probably don't need me to tell you to watch The Shawshank Redemption. You should have already watched it by now, but in case you haven't, I have to put it out there. Don't look at it as some old, boring, blah, 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 blah. Watch it. And that is the end of the list of some of the most depressing movies on Hulu right now. I hope you enjoy. Sorry that this took so long to get this video out. I'm realizing it's like the end of the month and I'm giving you your August recommendations. I'm failing. So I'm gonna do some rescheduling and figure out how to get most of these videos out within the first week to 10 days of a month. That way you've got all of your recommendations and you're good to go. Thank you so much for watching this video. I greatly appreciate it. And for everyone who watched my last Hulu video, you guys, thank you so much. Thank you so much. Follow me on Instagram if you like to follow people who barely post ever, but I'll try and give you some sort of behind the scenes looks over there on Insta. Like this video if you liked it. Share it if you feel like it. Subscribe if you haven't already, because you might feel the need to be subscribed to another channel that puts out a bunch of movie recommendations. If that's you, let's be friends. Thank you guys so much once again for the support as always. I greatly appreciate it. That is it for this video, but I won't stop you from watching another.